And one of my videos is up. I came down here after a sad morning and just doing some shadow work, and not today, but then. So I thought I'd make another one where I'm just loving life. And am I seeing that sun peek up over the horizon? We'll see. He's going to start crawling up there, and it's just amazing. Temperature down here right now is pretty chilly. I think the wind chill factor is around 6. So I'm very bundled up. And I'm used to coming out here now in the cold, but I can only stay so long. Oh God, look at that sun. These are the things I've learned to enjoy. There's nothing like it. I just thought I'd talk about my new friend Ivan a little bit. We've only just met, but Christy and I have been on this stone journey and feeling a lot of energy. And Ivan, this is one of the places I come with my stones that I was telling you about. But we've really just been having magic happen non-stop, getting non-stop. We've just been having so much fun. I want to say, I don't even remember. It's been over a year since Christy and I first met on Instagram. And here she comes. And so this year I decided to start filming some of these videos because she's totally into stones like I am. And all this energy started happening between us, and just magic of the new earth. And suddenly that's when I kind of went back out onto Facebook after a couple years of healing from a very traumatic second awakening. My first awakening landed me in a mental institution, so there was a lot of bottled up confusion. It was based on some channelings of love people didn't understand. That's all I'll say about that. But so Ivan, I was like, I just started connecting with his posts and sharing them, and he started liking mine. He was one of the first light workers on Facebook that I didn't know, and something was just resonating, and I saw one of his paintings, and I just said, wow. It was of all these planets, and he said, I'd love to send you one. I'm a spray paint artist, and I was like, only if you let me send you some of my stones. And so we started, just chatting a little bit. I gave him a little bit of my background, and then the synchronicities between the two of us started happening. And so I really feel him coming along on this journey. I'm not sure how it all works. It's about energy. It's about law of attraction, and you just know, you can kind of see. I now know how to sift through and choose out the charlatans. Sometimes I meet one and learn after meeting them and talking to them for a while that they're not who I thought they were. So but that wasn't the case with Ivan. And I was having this beautiful morning down here, and I had released all this pain, this suffering, these attachments in my head that were just keeping me constantly going back to old patterns, and then having to fight back upstream, then find the flow again of law of attraction. It's something I've worked hard at and it doesn't have to be hard. I think the older you are, the more conditioning, the more trauma you've been through, it's harder to get those voices out of your head. So, I've been doing some real work, and I finally feel like I'm on this side where I can start sharing my story. And I'm not afraid to say that they put me in a mental institution. For anybody who's gone through it and is watching this, you know, please feel free to contact me, DM me or whatever, because not everybody who is in there, I've seen the system, and I don't want to get into it, but I'm sure a lot of light workers are experiencing the same thing, and they shouldn't have to. After spending a life as an empath and waking up to finally themselves. So at any rate, I'd come down here, you know, to my sacred place, and was enjoying some, you know, just real peace. And things were happening all over the place. You know, the white swans, which is a spiritual moment for me, and different things. And I left, and I have, part of my journey is been through music. I didn't know this, but I was meditating for years with, let me change hands, through certain songs, you know, just getting lost in the song because I identified so much. And I would listen to it over and over and over again. I mean, it would make probably some people sick. Like, can we listen to something new? And those songs stayed with me for years. So all of a sudden, I started having these amazing experiences with music. So that plays in. I'm not ready to start talking about that today. But let's just say that... let me catch my breath and see where I was going. He was telling me about Ivan's paintings and leaving the day with the swan. You'll constantly hear me call it a goose, because the first time I saw him, I was like, those look like white geese, and we don't have white geese around here. And it was like, I kept seeing them during these spiritual moments, and I get so excited. I'm like, that's really odd. And then I finally asked these guys that were talking about them about the, they told me they were swans, and it was like, duh, Kelly. Because we do have white swans around here, and but I don't normally see them fly over this beach, or I hadn't, and I've been coming to this beach for years now. So they always end up coming, you know, when I'm in the middle of having some amazing moment, and it's just the universe speaking out to me. But so I had released a bunch. I'd come down here and released a bunch of baggage, and I got in my car, and this is where the music part comes in. The way I got into music, it's a lot of fun. I just followed my innate. I just started just randomly selecting songs, and if something was suggested to me as a playlist based on, you know, what I listened, I just add it to the playlist, all the songs. And then I've got like over 800 songs on my on this playlist, and it's funny because I'll just hit shuffle, and when I'm in spiritual moments and what Abraham Hicks would call the vortex, the songs are just laid out, and you just cannot believe how they're happening. But sometimes you don't realize the song is on there that never gets played. And this song came on called White Dove, and the day before, Ivan had, you know, painted a beautiful picture of this white dove, and he's like, what should I call this? And I was like, man, I remember yesterday having some something to do with a white dove. And I said, I don't know, call it white dove. And I couldn't remember, and that's kind of how it works for me. Sometimes like the messages come through in so many different ways that you can't remember where the white dove came in, conversation, music, whatever. And so the next day I was driving and hit shuffle and White Dove came on. And I was like, that's it! That song came on yesterday and I've never heard it before, but it's been on this playlist and oh my God. So let's see if I can get the green dot in the sun. Sorry to distract you, I'm always trying to do that. So it just, all these synchronicities started happening between us. And you know, these stones have energy. This stuff is real. So I just wanted to, you know, again, give a shout out to Ivan. So blessed to be getting to know him and sharing experiences and seeing us all just blossom, you know. So I just wanted to say, way to go, Ivan. You know, way to pick up on our energy. And way to go, Christy and Kelly. You know, we've been following our own intuition and doing things that didn't make sense to others and, in fact, made us look crazy sometimes. And it's really interesting now to see how our experiences and gifts are starting to intermingle, and how the energy of two light workers is reflecting out in energy in ways that you cannot see, and that's how it works. You just have to remember that, you know, this is a vibrational thing. I'm not one of the people that can see auras. When I have my experiences, I don't leave my body. So I've never had an out-of-body experience, but I've always been a very imaginative person. And the way it really got started for me is 10 years of doing research on an ancestor that I connected with. I discovered him through the records. He's a great-great-uncle of mine named John Catlin, and I just was like, it was amazing because he was in all these newspapers, and he was, you know, a San Francisco lawyer that was well known. The family was, my great-great-grandfather was a very big part of California's history. He's one of the original 1849ers that came to California and made a fortune, not off gold, but off other things. And then he became, he eventually got into, he was a Whig, I believe. That's how far we're going back. So I don't need to keep going into that family history, but John Catlin, so all that to say that John Catlin was somebody that was easy to research with newspaper.com and all these different things coming out for people searching ancestry. And I found over those 10 years that I started developing this relationship with his spirit, if you will. And when my friends were teaching me to meditate, you know, I would actually lay there and imagine myself, this is so beautiful, talking to John. And we were the same age because you know, I saw him, you know, in his 30s. I saw me younger, and we would just be hanging out, and I would just be talking to him about my problems or whatever. And then one day he started talking back, and so I'm going to tell you a quick story about that so that this doesn't go on too long. So one of the first things that he said to me is one of the most beautiful things, and it's proving to be true, and it seems so synchronistic to what's going on right now with watching the sunrise. So we used to sit on the beach in a leather couch because that seems comfortable with a big roaring fire. That seems amazing. And because it's my imagination and I'm gonna go where I want to go. So, but he got up at one point. I can't remember what I was talking to him about, but he got up at one point and he took me to the edge of the water. And I'm gonna try to go slow so that I don't mess this up. Because every time I try to retell it, it kind of comes out blurred. So this is, just take a breath. So he took me to the edge of the water, and he pointed out on the horizon, and I saw that the sun setting. And he said, "What do you see?" And I said, "Okay." He's asking me, I said, "I see a half circle," and I was really getting technical. He's like, no, what do you perceive? And I said, the sun is setting. And he said, "Yes, but the sun is also rising." And from there, I was like, the spiritual experiences started happening, and we started having conversations, and then it just turned into energy, and I could feel the sensations in my body of just dancing. I am not a dancer. If anybody who knows me is watching this, they would probably laugh, with me, because there's no way I could choreograph what I was doing. And it was energy. So the sensations in my body felt like I was flying, like I was swimming, like I was dancing. And it was all to this music that in these 800 songs, and actually, let's take that back for a minute. The song that really popped for me was Coldplay. A couple of songs of Coldplay, Till Kingdom Come, Every Teardrop is a Waterfall, I Will Try to Fix You, I think is what it's called. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, because now Coldplay is like a huge part of my spiritual experience. I just pop and just get so excited when they come on. So with that, I'm gonna stop. I think that's enough of so these aren't too long for people. Let's just sit here for a few more minutes. My hands are freezing too, so let's just meditate for a minute, and then send out energy and light to the world, and go from there. My hands are about to fall off. I do have gloves on, but they're not thick enough, obviously. So let's just end this beautiful moment of the sun just rising by sending out just love from one consciousness and energy to the planet. I'm sending my love to Australia, to every country in the world. To anybody who needs love and doesn't feel loved. It's a brand new energy, and it's exciting to see that the world is changing into a peaceful place. Even though it looks like chaos, guys, if you're watching the news, shut it off. That's not what's going on. That's you know, that I can't watch the news anymore. It just gets me in a bad space, and I'd rather sit here and watch the beauty of all the light workers who are changing the planet, and watching the magic happen around me. Sending energy to and light to those we fight about on Twitter, you know, Democrat, Republican, whether you're a Trump supporter or not. Send light, because man, if you want the government to get fixed, if you want politics to get fixed, then stop fighting with each other and send light. And that'll expose the darkness, and that will also give clarity to those who are trying to change it, because it's not that all politicians are bad. I'm not going to say that at all. There are some out there fighting upstream, you know, for the American people or for your country, wherever you are. But that's just here in America. Again, I don't watch the news, so sometimes I find out late things going on, like the fires in Africa, in Australia. I had to find out through light workers what was going on. So just sending love and light and pure, blissful energy to the world. And thank you, Ivan and Christy, for being here. I can feel your spirits, and I hope everybody has an amazing